I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Another final night in 2022 of iRacing IndyCar action. We're going to talk about that whole shenanigans in just a moment. But first, let's tell you what the heck we're doing here. My name's Chris Graham. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the season finale of the ESRA INDYCAR Series. It's been a few weeks since we've had these guys on the air. Really looking forward to this one here tonight, though. Going to crown a champion at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 14 cars on the entry list here tonight as practice is just getting ready to wrap up. And we are heading to qualifying. Jason Hand going to be the quickest in practice by almost 2/10. A double O machine hooked up on a hot lap very late in the session. What promises to be the final IndyCar broadcast on the National Racing Network airwaves for quite a while here. And quite frankly, that's because, well, the licensing agreements have run out between iRacing and IndyCar. And they've told us that we can't say the word IndyCar. In fact, it's like if you put up a session that says IndyCar, it kind of grays it out. It like shadow bans you. Kind of crazy what's going on in the world of sim racing right now. But we've got a whole lot of action coming up here tonight as cars head out onto the racetrack. Let's pick up the 98 of Vic Aldrich. Yeah, we'll get you the timing tower up here on the screen so you can see where your favorite is checking in. Surf Gonzo checking in. What's up, buddy? Hope you are doing well here tonight. Take a look. So sad it's the last broadcast for this series. Fitting it's at Vegas. Yeah, there's, yeah, I'll just say yes to that one. We'll see, but there is a fantastic points battle on offer here tonight as Eric Schaus goes quick time. Now Jason Hand, top of the boards, 24,932. Matt Wagner versus points leader James Watson. It is 16 points separating the two right now. If there's a tie, Wagner wins on the countback of wins. 419 for Watson, 403 for Wagner. The first battle is going to come here in qualifications. Vic Aldrich finishing up his lap. We'll pick up James Watson as he is out on the racetrack getting ready for his qualifying laps. Now 16 cars making up the entry list. We've got more popping in here as we get closer and closer to race time, down to 2 minutes 45 seconds. in the qualifying session. Drew White, top of the board, 24.732. James Watson clips the clock. He's on lap number 1. Watson did not sound overly confident here in the practice session. We'll see. Lap number 1 looks like it may be a little bit of a throwaway here, running the very high line, trying to get as much heat in those tires as possible. Lap number 1 going to be good for 6 quick at a 25.289, but about a half second back of where everybody else was running on their better of the 2 laps. See what Watson can do through 3 and 4. Over the start-finish line, and Watson goes 3rd quick, 24.762. New quick time. How about it, Craig Forsyth? J.W. Miller going to jump up to 2nd quick. Matt Wagner spins across the start-finish line. Lap number 2 will not score for Wagner. He is only going to be good for 9th quick at a 25.302. Pick up the 94 of Jesse Whittington for Burnt Rubber Media. He's coming down to finish his 2nd lap, and he goes 4th quick, 24.74, 24.74 with a 2 for Jesse Whittington. Pick up the 16 of Daniel Miglin, working his way down the backstretch. One of the late entries into the race here this evening. Down onto the apron car, a little bit twitchy loose. Lap number 2 for Miglin is no faster, 25.002. How about Cullen Johnston up to 5th quick? Nice run for Cullen, 24.74 with a 5, 24.745 seconds. For Cullen Johnston, TJ McMurray, the next to last car to set time. He's coming through 3 and 4, 26.25 seconds left. Qualifying will be over. Julian Altina will not set a time. He'll start from the back of the field. Lap number 2 for TJ McMurray does not score. Neither lap scoring for TJ McMurray. He's going to be a little bit frustrated with that one. Down to the final 10 seconds, and qualifications are over. The 72 with Craig Forsyth will be the pole sitter for the series finale here at Las Vegas. Starting to see some of the cars getting out onto the starting grid. As they start to file in, let's show you this starting lineup. Craig Forsyth, 4DRacewear.com Sim Racing, putting that car on the pole alongside Team Watson Racing's J.W. Miller. Couple of hot laps there, only 14,000 separating the top 2. Drew White and Jesse Whittington occupying row number 2 for tonight's race. Cullen Johnston and championship leader James Watson on row number 3. Row 4 going to be Alec Coates and Jim Brooks. And that's where you get to 1/10 of a second. Jason Hand and Zach Evans on row 5 are the first cars a 10th back in qualifying. That's ridiculous. Daniel Miglin for Team Watson Racing. Matt Wagner for Nerd Racing. He's one of the Area 51 cars here tonight, occupying row number 7. Row number 8 going to be Eric Schaus and Vic Aldrich. And on the final row tonight will be Julian Altina and TJ McMurray. 16 cars for 100 laps here around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Looks like Julian Altina will be a DNS from tonight's race as well. Unless he decides to pop in here and do a pit lane start on this one. The field making their way on the pace laps. Well, pace lap. You're only going to get one here around this 1.5 mile oval. High banks, fairly short back straightaway, but a crazy long run. From the exit of turn 4 through the dog leg and down into turn number 1. A ton of speed carried here at Las Vegas by these Indy cars. Just finishing down the Nellis straightaway, Nellis Air Force Base, located right off the back straightaway. Jet fighters in a gymnasium is how we've heard Indy cars on these high-banked 1.5 mile ovals described. We're going to see a whole lot of that tonight. But first, as always, the final start for this year, the ESRA INDYCAR Series, going to be all yours. Oh my goodness. One lap in the books. They did a pace lap at 190 mile an hour. Craig Forsyth going to lead lap number 1. Drew White, Jesse Whittington side by side. Whittington down on the inside. Going to be Drew White up on the outside of the racetrack. Following the championship contenders, James Watson doing exactly what he needs to do. Stay in touch with the race leaders. Keep Matt Wagner behind him. Forsyth going to lead lap number 2. Whittington looks like he's going to hold on to second. Man, tight drag race to the line, though. Drew White able to come past just after the start-finish line. They're still 2 by 2 all the way around this racetrack. Drew White having the look up the middle on Craig Forsyth. Battle for the race lead. Who's it going to be at the line? Craig Forsyth by called about a third of a car length. 2 by 2 for your top 4. Watson all alone there in 5th, but he's going to have Cullen Johnston peeking up on the outside of him. How about J.W. Miller making his way back up towards the front of the field here? Miller back up to the second position, now tucked in line behind Forsyth, along with Drew White. Top 4, top 5, single file, going to be side by side, a little bit deeper back. Well, as soon as we say that, 4th place Drew White pulls out a line. He's going to try to give Cullen Johnston a little bit of a pull down the front stretch. Hold your breath racing is what this is. Have the comment coming in from Surf Gonzo. Can you continue this series by calling it open wheel? No, unfortunately, the license actually is on the combination. So the car itself, at least what iRacing is telling us, the car cannot be broadcast. Could bring the league back in a different format. Could be, you know, the IR01, the V10 kind of pretend car that iRacing built. Could be one of the other open wheel classes. But also even like using the F1 car gets a little bit sketchy in what you can and can't do, and you can't customize paint schemes and all that stuff, so you wouldn't use that car either. But man, I'll tell you what, this is insane. Working lap number 8, they're still hot and heavy at the front of the field. It is incredible how quickly laps tick off here. Last lap by 25.184 for race leader Craig Forsyth. This time by 25.135, a 5-lap average of 25.114. You would think at some point it has to settle down, at least a little bit. Problem is these cars just punch a pretty decent sized hole in the air. The effect of the draft is really pretty crazy. Now working at lap number 12, no change at the front of the field. Still Craig Forsyth and J.W. Miller 1-2. James Watson, third car in line. Going to be fourth on the leaderboard. Jesse Whittington to his outside. What if Jesse is any relation to the real-world Whittingtons? Don and Bill Whittington made a number of starts in the Indianapolis 500. Class winners in the 24 Hours of Le Mans as well. Heavily involved when the ESRA Series was jokingly referred to as the International Marijuana Smugglers Association. Some CIA connections possibly. That is all sorts. The story of the Whittingtons is insane. A couple of great YouTube videos about it, a couple of fantastic books on them as well. Check that out, Bill and Don Whittington. J.W. Miller to the race lead off of turn number 4. Craig Forsyth got to fight back down to the inside. Going to be Miller picking up that lap. 13-1, led by Craig Forsyth. Lap number 14 going to J.W. Miller. Taking a look at our championship contenders, James Watson has got to be a little bit nervous. There are dudes all over the place on Watson. Watson getting nervous. What the hell am I talking about? He's up to second now, right behind Craig Forsyth, and he's got teammate J.W. Miller running some interference on the outside. Not team orders by any stretch there, by the way. Neither one of those guys plays the game like that. Watson wants to win the championship, and he wants a win in this race. Only has one win on the season, so if something should happen that we end up in a tie, Matt Wagner would actually win the championship. Utilizing the IndyCar Point Series rules, or IndyCar Series points rules, the first tiebreaker is a count back on wins. Matt Wagner has 2. James Watson only has 1. Already 1/5 of the way through this race. Forsyth, Watson, Whittington, White coach, your top 5. Top 4 getting all single filed out. Outside of, let's see, my goodness, it is 1.3 seconds from first place Craig Forsyth to 15th place Vic Aldridge. Julian Altina also on the racetrack, about 9 seconds back of the race leaders. So Julian obviously having a little bit of an issue with his VOR machine, getting that out onto the racetrack. We talked a little bit about the licensing issues. There's a lot of people I genuinely feel bad for. The guys that run this ESRA INDYCAR Series league are fantastic guys. They can still run a league, but they possibly can't run the car at an INDYCAR Series venue. There's even question about, are any venues not going to be grandfathered in? Could you go back as many as 15 years that you're not allowed any? If the car ran on that racetrack in the last 15 years, you can't run it. There's a handful of others here that really come to mind. Everybody that has really excelled in the iRacing Indy 500, that is going away as well, at least in the short term. Matt Wagner, Jim Brooks, these guys putting on the Area 51 League. I don't know what the future holds for those leagues. It's not just the broadcasts that are in danger. It's the leagues as a whole, potentially. It really is going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. What the new terms of service look like. Come, well, I guess Monday. If my memory serves me correctly, they were good for somewhere between 29 and 35 laps. I don't have confirmation of that, but we could be not too far away from seeing pit stops. And pit stops that happen under green here in Las Vegas are tricky. Making that dive off of turn number 4. Oh, man. Make the hair on the back of your neck stand up trying to control one of these race cars from 220 or so miles an hour down the pit road speed limit. Watson thought about having to look for the lead. Oh, man, almost making contact with Drew White there in the 15. Watson tried the side draft, trying to pull up and get a little bit of air off the back of that 72 machine of Craig Forsyth. Still side by side. This is 5-6 laps now that we've been side by side for the race lead. 2 by 2 the entire way back through the field. They're now working lap number 29. If you want to pit, you have to get to the bottom here. And there you go. There's James Watson. Look down to the inside. He thought about a big look inside of Forsyth going into turn number 3. Top 2 now nose to tail. Not the same story for 3rd and 4th. They're going to keep going side by side. Drew White trying to hold off Jesse Whittington. Almost a little bit of contact here back behind these two. That was Jason Hand and Alec Coates almost making contact. Hand in that U.S. Air Force livery up on the outside of the racetrack. Connor Daly almost took that car to victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway till an errant tire from Graham Rahal ended the night for him. Well, I guess the afternoon. Hand almost making contact with Coates. Four laps is what the field is working right now. 67 to go. We're at the 1/3 mark of this race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If I remember correctly, they tried to set up the fuel limit so that you would hit a 2-stop race. So not much past 40 or 45 laps or so. J.W. Miller on pit lane. Miller's car looks like he is down and away, 8.33 seconds. The time of the stop for J.W. Miller. Now the questions start to come. When do the rest of our race leaders have to hit pit lane? You're going to lose about a lap and a half to the race leaders. Coming down, making a green flag pit stop. Guys like Watson and Wagner, they're hoping for a caution flag. They do not want to have to make a green flag stop here. So easy to get yourself in trouble. Jim Brooks making his way down pit lane. He was inside the top 10 when he came down. Looks like we're going to have one more heading down. That's going to be Jason Hand is going to have to pit this time as well. Here comes Craig Forsyth. Oh, buddy. Jesse Whittington way overcooks it. We'll see if he's going to get the penalty or not. Whittington, Hand, Altina, and Brooks. All on pit lane. Craig Forsyth, your race leader. Well, was the race leader. Leading a race high 36 laps to this point. James Watson staying out on the racetrack. How much fuel was James Watson able to save running in traffic? Not a ton. Here he comes this time down pit lane. Big lockup on entry. Looks like he's going to be okay. Matt Wagner stays out on the racetrack. I don't think anybody could stretch this out. Jesse Whittington still on pit lane. This looks like a long penalty for Jesse Whittington. Watson up on the jacks. He is going to be down and away. And a penalty, I think. Yeah, a penalty for James Watson. Speeding on entry. Watson still stationary on pit lane. And Matt Wagner staying out again. He's going to put lap number 43 on the board. James Watson leaving the pits after 48.47 seconds. Goes from the race lead to now being scored in the 15th position. In fact, coming out just ahead of race leader Matt Wagner. Watson going to be 2 laps down. Here comes Matt Wagner this time, lap number 44. 45 goes up on the board for new race leader Alec Coates, Eric Schaus, TJ McMurray also on the racetrack to this point. We'll see if Wagner is able to get out of the box cleanly. Hits the marks, crew goes to work. Eric Schaus able to stay out on the racetrack. Good Lord, that is a ridiculous run for Eric Schaus to this point. Still going to be about 5 or 6 laps short of making it to the end on one stop. But here comes Craig Forsyth around Matt Wagner. That's going to drop Wagner back to 5th. Now Eric Schaus going to come down pit lane. And James Watson is going to need a caution and some help if he wants to win this championship. The point system, 50 points for a win. Matt Wagner, currently running in third, will earn 35 points. James Watson in 15th will earn 15. It's a 20-point gap between the two right now. That will be enough to get Matt Wagner another ESRA INDYCAR Series championship. J.W. Miller battling Daniel Miglin, Alec Coach, Jim Brooks. Heck, Vic Aldridge, TJ McMurray, Zach Evans also going to be right there as well. Watson does get a point for leading a lap. Matt Wagner leading 3 laps. So he also picks up a point. So it is currently 20, the separation between the two. Wagner actually now up to the second position. That's going to earn him 40 points. 25 markers is plenty for Matt Wagner to claim the championship at this point. But we have another set of pit stops to go. And if you start to do the math and you're James Watson, do you try to figure out a way? I don't know that you can stretch an extra 20 laps of fuel here on the oval, at least not without giving up way too much time. Here's race leader Craig Forsyth just coming across the start-finish line. James Watson alone down the backstretch and into turn number 3. So Watson also has no drafting help. Top 4 all now nose to tail. Top 3, I should say, nose to tail. 4th place, J.W. Miller, about 2 seconds back of this pack of race leaders. Top 4 all nose to tail playing nicely. Sort of the same is true here for this second pack of cars led by J.W. Miller. Going to have Jim Brooks, Alec Coast, Daniel Miglin, and others. Making their way down the back straightaway about 3 seconds or so back of the lead pack. Watson is the first car 1 lap down. However, Cullen Johnston running in 14th. Let's see here. Watson, looks like Watson is about a lap and a half back. While both of these battles are single file, we'll show you the leaders here for a hot minute. 43 3 to go here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Surf Gonzo, if you are the reason we have a caution, I am blaming you. I'm a little surprised how clean this race has been so far. I've been trying not to commentators curse this by talking about it, quite frankly. But this race has been really good, really clean. Quite frankly, I think part of that is just the fact that these guys know you can't make a mistake. You can't get too close and let the Netgear gods grab a hold of you, because you're going to be in big-time trouble if you do. There is no way that that ends well. There are no backup cars. At least I don't think. Might be one here in the ESRA INDYCAR Series. And either way, you make a mistake, your night is over. I mean, we see it. James Watson is dealing with this right now. Just coming across the start. Oh, big bobble. What a save. Jason Hand. Good Lord, man. But James Watson, a pit speeding penalty, has him 2 laps down. Back in the 15th position. About another 15 or so laps away. Well, some of these drivers are about 15 laps away from their final stop of the night. Pit window is now open, so you could make your final stop at any point and be good to go the rest of the way. Really going to be interesting to see if anybody tries to go off strategy here. I don't see a way that that can possibly work. You're going to have to spend longer on pit lane. If you stop now, you would probably take tires. Only because you're going to be stopped for 5 or 6 seconds. You might as well take the extra second and get 4 fresh Firestones. What I think you're going to see is a series of late splash and dash type stops here, especially if we stay green. Well, we say that. Here comes the first one. Oh, and J.W. Miller spins trying to get into the pit lane. Makes contact with the inside wall. Miller going to slowly head down towards his pit stall. He was the shortest of the bunch. 32 laps. 33 laps by the time he gets to his stall. Complete for J.W. Miller. So he split the race right into thirds. Craig Forsyth running at the front of the field, only able to go 38 laps on his first stint. He is 9 laps away from that right now. Oh, so nice. Already working lap number 69. In a race that has only been running for 29 minutes and 30 seconds. And is only, if we keep this pace up, it's only about 15 minutes away from being concluded. Jim Brooks on pit lane now as well for his final stop. James Watson, I'm guessing, probably trying to stretch this as long as humanly possible. Jim Brooks off of pit lane, 53.6 seconds. Either a problem on entry or a pit road speeding penalty there for Jim Brooks, as we are down to 29 laps to go this time by. Show you the second battle now, headed up by Alec Coates. TJ McMurray, Zach Evans, Vic Aldrich, and Daniel Miglen all going to be involved in this one. We follow along with the 16 of Miglen. "75 consecutive green flag laps here for the Stars and Cars of the ESRA INDYCAR Series, their 2022 season finale. Craig Forsyth getting close to where he's going to have to stop. Matt Wagner, Eric Schaus, and Cullen Johnston all in line. Johnston 1 lap down in the 12th position. He is the first car 1 lap down. Here comes the race leader, Craig Forsyth, off of 4 onto pit lane. And he is coming basically all alone. Julian Altina also going to pit with Forsyth. So he'll have at least a little bit of drafting help. Forsyth leading 65 laps here this evening. Jason Hand also on the pit lane this time by, as you saw race leader Matt Wagner disappear off into the sunset. Forsyth just getting off the pit lane this time by with 23 to go. Jason Hand down and away off pit lane. Drew White on pit lane for his final service of the season. Jesse Whittington also on the pit lane. Daniel Miglen, Zach Evans, Drew White also coming down the pit lane. A lot of these cars in the second pack. Here's James Watson on pit lane. Championship leader entering the night. He may not be the same position by the time it's over. .37 seconds, the time of the stop for James Watson. So 4 tires and a full tank of Speedway racing fuel for Watson, but he's going to go another lap down in the process. Currently, as we cycle through pit stops, only 5 cars remain on the lead lap. Matt Wagner, Eric Schaus, Alec Coates, TJ McMurray, and Vic Aldrich. Trouble on the racetrack for Daniel Miglin. You saw the car sideways exiting pit lane. As of right now, we stay green. Cullen Johnston down and away off of pit lane. That was lucky for James Watson that Miglin's car did not bring out a caution flag. Craig Forsyth clinching the bonus for most laps led, as Vic Aldrich going to make his way down pit lane this time. Pick up Surf Gonzo's favorite, one of the Team Watson Racing Armada of race cars. When do we see Matt Wagner on pit lane? Remember, neither driver has to win this race. The difference was 16 entering the night, with James Watson currently running in the 13th position. That would pay 17 points. Matt Wagner cannot finish any lower than 4th. Here he comes off of turn number 4. Matt Wagner on pit lane for the final time this season. Wagner hits the box cleanly. Car is up on the jacks. He is down and away 5.52 seconds. That may have been fuel only. It was. Fuel only for Matt Wagner. He gets back out on the racetrack, trying to keep that number 1 plate. Eric Schaus still on the racetrack. Where is Craig Forsyth? What a job by Matt Wagner. He is back on the racetrack and ahead of Craig Forsyth. The gap sits right at 1 second. It is now inside of 1 second with 12 to go. Wagner does not have drafting help. Forsyth very much does. Looks like that's J.W. Miller. It is J.W. Miller of the Team Watson Racing stable, trying to push Craig Forsyth to the front. Eric Schaus, your race leader, now on pit lane. He's actually going to be able to do a very, very short stop here. They're running through every pit box on pit lane. Is Schaus. He's going to be fuel only as well, down and away, 5.8 seconds. Can Matt Wagner get out ahead of Eric Schaus? I think it's going to be really close. By the time they get off of turn number 2. Still don't see Schaus's car yet. There he is. There's Eric Schaus. Matt Wagner going to come out and pass Schaus into turn number 3. Here comes Forsyth. Now J.W. Miller staying in line behind Forsyth. 8 to go. This championship is not over yet. Wagner does not have to win the race, but he cannot finish any lower than third, with James Watson running in the 13th position. Schaus to the outside, TJ McMurray, J.W. Miller on the bottom side of the racetrack. Schaus not able to get clear. Forsythe going to work on Wagner. Wow! Big dive down the inside from McMurray. Contact for the race win would likely mean a championship for James Watson. Wagner, Forsythe, Schaus, top three, all now in line with 6 to go. Jim Brooks, teammate to Matt Wagner, pushing James Watson down the front stretch. Schaus could really make things interesting. These three run against each other a ton in this IR18 IndyCar across a variety of leagues and the officials. Three of the best on the iRacing platform in the IR18. Wagner right up underneath the Watson. Oh, there was almost contact between Forsythe and Wagner. Oh, they're close again. Watson trying to hold the spot. He does not want to go another lap down. There's almost contact again. Schaus to the outside of Wagner. 3 to go. Coming up at 10 o'clock, it's going to be the U.S. Open Wheel C and D Series Championships. Wagner looks outside of Watson. Here comes Forsythe. He's going up the middle. Watson is not giving up on this championship yet. White flag is out. 1 to go. They're 4 wide to turn 1. Contact! Wagner's into the wall. Wagner hard into the outside wall with 1 to go. Down the back straightaway. Craig Forsythe is your race leader. How far is Matt Wagner going to fall? He's back to 8th. Off the final corner, twin checkers in the air. Craig Forsythe wins at Las Vegas. Oh my goodness, drama for the championship. The only incident of the race occurs on the white flag lap. Contact between Craig Forsythe, Matt Wagner, Eric Schaus, and James Watson, who were 4 wide, entering turn number 1. Ends with Matt Wagner in the infield. Oh my goodness. Let's show you the race results as Craig Forsythe burns them down. You see the blinking. You wonder of netcode that was involved in that incident. We'll have to see, get a better look on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay here in just a moment, but let's get you through the running order. Forsythe, Alec Coates, Drew White, your podium. Julian Altena started this race from pit lane. He finishes 4th. Zach Evans, Vic Aldrich, Eric Schaus, Matt Wagner. The 8 cars to finish on the lead lap. They're going to be followed home by Daniel Miglin, Cullen Johnston, TJ McMurray, James Watson, all 1 lap down. J.W. Miller, Jim Brooks, Jason Hand, and Jesse Whittington round out the field. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at this one again. We're going to show it to you from the overhead to start here. Take a look at the white flag lap. Actually, let's get right overhead from the chopper. A little bit of contact between Forsythe and Watson. Oh man, that was definitely netcode. You could see the right front tire of Craig Forsythe flopping around. Let's get the camera squared up here. Show it to you again at half speed. Watch the right front. There's obviously contact between Watson and Forsythe entering turn number 1. The car's a little bit twitchy here down the front straightaway. But watch the right front tire of Craig Forsythe's car. No smoke from any of them, but look, there's Forsythe's tire flopping around. His right front was broken. Except it wasn't. Crazy, crazy netcode at the end of this race. Craig Forsythe will be your race winner. Let's do our victory lane interviews here. Let's get these squared up first anyway. Don't see Drew White. Oh, there he is. But first and foremost, let's talk to our race winner, guy who was absolutely dominant here tonight. Craig Forsythe leading 66 laps. Congratulations on a big win to round out the ESRA INDYCAR Series season.
Finish it. That was a little tight at the end. I will admit I was the lucky one that survived that. I'll take it. But nope, that's a good way to end the season and the broadcast. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now I gotta ask you. It looks like there may have been a little bit of netcode from the view that we have. It looked like the right front was banged up on your car. We didn't see any smoke between you and Watson on the initial contact. Yeah, actually, that was netcode contact between you and Watson. And then your right front was just hot garbage until it wasn't. How in the world did you keep this thing in a straight line and not just overreact slightly? That's got to be hard to not to just twitch the wheel a little bit in the corner and give up all that speed.
Honestly, driving-wise, it didn't change at all. It just kept going. It didn't look right, but it was driving fine. Only needed to get to the start-finish line anyway.
I was going to say, sometimes better to be lucky than good. Man, I'll tell you what, a fantastic race. Were you surprised at all that we went almost caution-free for this one until that, well, we did go caution-free other than that last lap contact?
Well, I mean, there were a couple cars that were spinning on pit exit, and yeah, I think there were a couple guys that burned through pit entry. But on pit exit, there were a couple guys that they almost spun out onto the track, and I mean, lucky, because at that point, most us early pitters were down a lap, and that wouldn't have worked out well for us at all. So no, it was nice tight racing and the whole way. So it was nice to see that go green right to the end.
Well, a fantastic run for you, man. We appreciate you hanging out with us a little bit here. Happy holidays to you and yours. And before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in as well.
Chris, I got to thank you guys. You've been a great broadcaster for the the league for all these seasons. It's ESRA has been going on Thursdays for a while now, and so it's sad to see the broadcast going away. But nope, I got to thank all the guys at 40 Racewear. Been a sponsor for the car for a number of seasons now, and of course the whole team at Forsythe Racing. So it's still going to be racing with the guys, just won't be broadcasting it out anymore.
Yeah, that's the part that sucks, is the racing is so good. We just don't get to show it to people. So IndyCar and iRacing need to get their heads out of their asses and figure it out. But all right, buddy. Well, thank you much.
Who knows? Maybe I'll set up a webcam and try and figure out how to do that streaming thing.
Yeah. God, that's even more frustrating. But yes, don't piss off the Jimmy Broadbents of the world. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, Craig. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. Congratulations on a big win. Let's talk to the guy who finished second here tonight in what was as good of a finish as the battle for the race lead. Alec Coates, incredible run to second. One, how did you get through the carnage in turn one? And two, talk us through the rest of that last lap. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was exciting. It's one of those things in IndyCar. Once you see the white flag, you just hold it to the floor and try to miss any other cars that are scattered across the track. So I was just holding to it and gonna see where it shake out to where I finished.
Yeah, you, Drew, Julian were incredibly tight coming to the line. In fact, actually, we got to back the camera out a little bit here to show this a little bit wider. Is there anything you can do as a driver to say, hey, I'm going to hold this line, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do that? It was really pretty crazy how you're able to hold on there coming to the line.
Yeah, no, I'm not someone that's huge on the double moves and blocking. I just don't try to do that. I try to do it straight up, but I knew I was going to go to the apron in the last lap. That's always been our rule. I knew that was the shortest way around the track, so I chose to go apron. I think Drew went a little earlier than I did and kind of got into me a little bit, but that was just racing to the finish, so there was no harm, no foul there. And at the end of the day, if he would have spun me, there would have been all good. It was just fun racing there. But yeah, no, I just on these cars, you just, especially with the setup, you hold the white line and make them try to find a way around the outside if they can, or through the grass and on the apron.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the racing you guys put on tonight was fantastic. 99 laps with basically no contact anywhere. Insane. The talent level it speaks to here. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get a chance to talk to Cullen here tonight, but I'll talk to you. Thank you for having us. Unfortunately, the whole iRacing IndyCar kerfluffle means we can't broadcast your races anymore. But man, this ESRA Series is fun. You guys are some of the best on this platform here, and we really appreciate you letting us hang out with you on Thursdays.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Chris. It sucks that money's got to get in the way of things and stuff like that. I really look forward to Thursday nights and it's been a lot of work for me and Colin, but we've loved having you on board, and obviously let's just hope people figure it out, and one day it's not going to be any issue again. I mean, there might be loopholes, there might be stuff like that, but for the time being, we're obviously car counts have been down everywhere. We were going to take some time off anyways, so I guess it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but I just hope to figure something out because there's a lot of good guys here, a lot of good competition, and we just like coming out to have some fun on Thursdays and get our mind off our regular everyday lives. So I appreciate everything you guys have done, and obviously we'll still be in touch, and hopefully they figure some things out with people that are supposedly much more important than us and call the shots. So
yes.
Thanks again, Chris, and
let the lawyers get paid.
Let's do it again sometime.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We're just seeing the finish, by the way, on the slow-mo. Holy crap. God, that's even better in slow-mo. All right, buddy. Thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here. And let's talk to our third-place finisher. We just saw the train wreck that was the end of the battle for second. Drew White coming home in the third position. We just same question I just asked Alec. What did you see going into turn one with the leaders wrecking in front of you, and then what goes through your head?
So it wasn't until I saw Matt come on voice chat that I saw that there was an issue, and then it wasn't until I saw he was on the apron and that it registered that something happened. So it was just one of those things where it just happened so fast. It was like, what the hell is happening? And then by the time we passed it, it's just like, oh my God, it's just going to change everything. And I think it pretty much did. I think James ended up winning the championship because of it. So but just, I don't know, it's just one of those situations where as a racer, you got to know when to go for it and when to not. And if you're someone like Matt, who's in the championship hunt, who doesn't need for that to happen, I don't understand why he's trying to make that move happen. But everyone has their own agenda when they're racing. Everyone has to race a specific way or their own way. So I can't hate him too much for it. It just sucks that ended up ruining one person's championship hopes.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch that entire last lap, and I think there's maybe some blame to go around 3 or 4 ways possibly there, but that's
Yeah.
definitely one we're going to be talking about for a while because if you're James, I get you want to hold your line, you're doing your thing on the inside, the leaders have to pass you. It's, you don't have to give the spot up. If you're Matt Wagner or even Craig or Eric for that matter, breathe the throttle a hair and you're still in it, you're going to be second or third. That's not the worst possible outcome.
Yeah. And sometimes though, it's the win. It's that win mantra that drivers seem to get though, where if you put yourself in a situation where you can win, a lot of times you're going to go for it. And as tonight, it ended in mayhem, unfortunately, for some people.
Yeah, well, you got a little bit of mayhem as well, trying to go
Unfortunately.
into orbit off the back of Alex's car coming to the line. Talk us through that battle. He said he was going to the apron, and if anybody wanted to go with him or go lower, they were going to have to go through him, and you tried.
Yeah. Well, he didn't let anyone know that beforehand. But so I started going below him. But like I said, at that point, I saw he was starting to go below. I was like, oh well, one of us is probably gonna die, and no one died before we crossed the start finish line, thankfully. So we got to keep our positions, thankfully. But I'm not upset about that. That's just part of racing, and like I said, we both knew what was at stake, and I mean, I think we would have finished second and third still if I stayed on the racing line and then go on the apron still. But I think it produced a fun inning where me, Alex, and Julian all killed each other at the end by running into each other. So.
Yeah, it was. The slow-mos are fantastic. I got to say, thank you much for a fantastic season of ESRA IndyCar Racing. It's fun when we get to talk to you. And before we let you go, make sure you get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous handled here.
Well, if you want good setups, go to teamwatsonracing.com, go to their setup shop, and, they have plenty of good NASCAR, F4, a lot of open wheel and endurance setups that they are selling. I highly recommend you go in there to get some of them. So that's my only plug, I guess. I want to thank you, Chris, for producing a fantastic broadcast, as you always will. And whether it's at IndyCar or obviously maybe not now, but regardless of what it is in the future, I wish nothing but the best of luck for you and NRN, all right?
Hey, buddy, we appreciate that and really appreciate the kind words. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us here. And we've got a couple of more interviews that we're going to do here. The first of which is your new ESRA IndyCar Series champion, Mr. James Watson. James, I got to ask you to start things. Talk us through those last couple of laps. So what I saw was a lap car holding position. The leaders have to get past cleanly.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't afford to go down an extra lap, so I just I held my line around the bottom as best as I could. I knew they were getting racy, so I really tried to hold it, and then I hear 4 wide. I'm like, I'm doing what I can, and then I just see everyone crash, and I see Wags in it, and I'm just like, my mouth is down to beneath my floor. Like, did that just happen? Is this really happening?
Yeah, it's one of those deals. I mean, let's talk the numbers a little bit here. It was a tight championship battle coming in. It was actually going to be a little bit tighter leaving here. Only 14 points, at least by my terrible math, is 16, 18, whatever it is, points, separating you from Matt at the end of the season. Basically a very similar gap as what we had going into the night. It really was a season-long battle between you two, and pretty crazy that it really boils down to last lap of the season decides a championship.
Yeah, it's always been that way. Like, pretty much the entirety of ESRA, it's pretty much been just me and him going back at it, just back and forth, just haymaker after haymaker, and I've just never been able to get the breaks I needed to pull it off, because like when you go up against someone as skilled and as talented as Matt Wagner, you kind of need to catch a lucky break here and there if you're going to have any hopes of dethroning him. And I caught just enough of what I needed to finally bring it home for myself.
Well, yeah, and looking at things, I mean, there was quite a while where we talked about you being snake bit in this series, and a guy with a very high I rating who, quite for whatever reason, could not get the win in this series. Not only do you have the wins, now you have an ESRA IndyCar Series championship. Got to feel pretty darn good over there, bub.
It's crazy. During when I was sitting in waiting for my interview, I legitimately started to tear up. Like you don't know what this league and this championship means to me. Like this team quite literally would not exist without the ESRA IndyCar Series. The whole reason that Team Watson Racing started was for ESRA. None of this Team Watson Racing setups, absolutely nothing would not exist without ESRA Indy. And this is the championship I wanted to win most of all. I've just been a nervous wreck. I've barely eaten all week. I've been so stressed and so nervous. I just wanted this so bad. And after everything to finally bring it home, I just can't tell you how special this is.
Well, we're really happy for you. Like we said, this is one we knew you were a little bit snake bit on, but it's certainly been fun watching this season. And before we let you go, we know there's a bunch. Get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous taken care of. We don't get to give you enough of those.
I first and foremost, I have to thank my teammate, my rival, my mentor, and my friend Matt Wagner. He's definitely gotten the most out of me over the entirety of this season, just helping me get better. Like I can't tell you how much time he spent with me, working with me, helping me get better. So to finally get the championship and to beat him, I would not have done it without his help and his support. I gotta thank everyone else at Team Watson Racing and Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel. Check them out at martinsports906.com. You and everyone else at NRN for always believing in me and supporting me, and ZAS Designs for putting together my paint schemes.
Man alive, what a finish to the ESRA IndyCar Series season. This has been just wild racing tonight. 99 and a quarter laps clean. The final 3/4 of a lap of the season were absolutely insane. Oh my goodness, that was fun. And we got a whole lot more coming up here on the National Racing Network tonight. Coming up at 10 o'clock in the East, it will be the U.S. Open Wheel C Championship, featuring the cars of the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, followed by the U.S. Open Wheel D Official Championship, those being the Tatus USF 2000 machinery. Fantastic show. Again, I have to say a huge thank you, Alec Coates, Cullen Johnston, Ty Richter, I know, also involved a good bit on the admin side here. Man, just thank you, gentlemen. We truly appreciate getting to hang out with you. The whole deal with IndyCar and iRacing just sucks at the moment. We're not sure of what the future holds for broadcasting this car, what venues we might be able to broadcast it from. Obviously, there's a lot of the trademarks and marketing things, and there's a lot of lawyers that end up involved in this thing, and, well, we just don't have the budget to pay them. Otherwise, we would fight just as hard. But with that, we will bid temporarily adieu to the ESRA IndyCar Series. Tonight, closing out their 2022 season at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Greg Forsythe is your race winner. James Watson takes his first ESRA IndyCar Series championship. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.